Hello, my Teaserking family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Really, I got a light issue. Damn it. My apologies. All right. How's everybody? Don't mind me, but I'm eating. So, great week last week. 10-0. The Georgia under, Clemson under. Clemson's backup quarterback was much better than their initial quarterback, but this guy wants to, I'm going to keep DJ Ukulele, or call him Ukulele, as the starter. I don't get it. He must have something on him. It doesn't make any sense, but that's what you have. Okay. So, with that said, let's try to go 10-0 this week. So we're going to start real quickly with Buffalo, LA. Think of it as baseball. Buffalo 2.5, 52, over under. Cut to the chase. I like the Rams an 8.5. Been thinking about it. Why is Buffalo favored on the road? I don't understand. I am not buying Josh Allen. As you know, I do not like him because he runs too much. Stafford's healthy. Aaron Donald's the difference, I believe. Excuse me, I'm eating a salad. So take the Rams and the 8.5 as the free pick. And it wouldn't be right if I didn't give you the free pro, so you can play a two-team teaser. Take Alabama minus 14 against Texas. That's your free teaser. We'll get into college in a minute. So when I really break down the Buffalo, LA, I take the dog. I think the game's even. I think the Rams should be a 3-point favorite. I don't understand why Buffalo's favored. I don't get it. I don't really get Buffalo. They beat up on the Jets, Miami, and New England. They go 5-1. That's what New England used to do. They used to beat up on the Jets, Buffalo, and Miami. I mean, for some reason, there's only one good team in that division most of the time. Once in a while, Miami gets good. Well, that was in the 70s. The Jets got good. Well, I was with Joe Namath and then Tom Brady. Now you got Buffalo with Jim Kelly. Now you got Buffalo here. I'm just not. The key to winning on the road is defense, and I don't think Buffalo's got the defense that's going to hold the Rams. I think Cincinnati had a better defense. Again, the game's in L.A. Take the 8.5. Now, let's walk through the pros. And I'm going to use the lines I have right here. They might have changed a half a point, but in this case, we're going to review them on Sunday morning or over the weekend anyway. So let's look what we got. New Orleans 5 and 41.5 against Atlanta. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go to the current lines because I don't like to do this. So give me 1 second to get to the lines. I think it's easier to go on my phone than it is to try to do it on the computer for some reason. Very slow. Although I had the computer guy come out because I kept losing you on Saturdays after like an hour and a half. And he just said it's a connection. My thing was painted with the thing you screw in. And we moved it up here, so it should be a better signal, and I shouldn't lose it. Right now, Buffalo is 2.5, 52. Take the Rams plus the 2.5. All right, let's go to college. UCF 5-minute. Well, wait, let's do the pro. Right. I'm sorry. I'm doing the pros right now. Let's do that one thing at a time. All right. Baltimore 7. Fuck the ads. Baltimore 744.5 over the Jets. Jets. New Orleans 5.5, 42.5. The Miami 3.5, 46. Cleveland, Carolina's Pick'em 42. Cincinnati 6.5, 44.5. Frisco 6.5, 40. Philly 4, 48.5. Indy 7, 45.5. Washington 2.5, 44. KC 5.5, 53.5. San Diego 3.5, 52. Green Bay 1.5, 47. Tennessee 5.5, 43.5. Tampa 2.5, 50.5. And Denver 6.5, 44.5. Those are lines as of 8:03 Thursday night, like right now. And again, I apologize, but I am so hungry. Working through dinner. Okay, so you got week 1. You've got week 1 of nobody's played for 4 weeks, because even in the preseason, they really don't play. What do you do with it? So you got to be careful, because I think a lot of the times you lose that connection. You lose the timing. The quarterback, Peyton Manning, would do that. You lose. Nobody's in shape. There's a big difference between running around shape and game shape. And I don't think anybody's in game shape. Nobody's ready to go 4 quarters. You watch tonight. By the 4th quarter, they're going to be dying. I like the game actually under, but I'm not going to play it because I think they're going to be tired. I think what happens is the first half, the quarterbacks aren't in sync with the receivers. They're all out of sync. The second half, God almighty. The second half, you've got more there. Hey, Alex, just going over the NFL right now. I took the Rams an 8.5 today. So you have teams really didn't play all preseason. Nobody played maybe more than a quarter. Then you get the bye last week. So you got guys that are not in football shape. Football shape is 60 minutes. Nobody's in football shape. So I see the 4th quarter being tired. The defense gets tired. There'll be points scored. However, the first 3 quarters, the timing's off. Well, the first half, the timing is going to be off between the quarterback and the receivers. So you're not going to get much scoring in the first half. Then you're going to get the scoring in the 4th quarter because the defense will be so tired. So I look for the teams that can run the ball. They have the best success in this. So if we look at it, we give a little edge to New Orleans. They got Kamara. Frisco has whatchamacallit, the receiver. I can't think of his name. The Bears, no Gale Sayers, no Walter Payton. They're hurting. Indy's got Taylor. Houston doesn't have anybody. They don't even have a pro roster. Pittsburgh, I like. They have the Alabama running back. Cincinnati, We have the Oklahoma kid, but they do have Burrow, who with Chase, I'm not really worried about them. Baltimore's got Lamar Jackson as their running back. The Jets, I don't even know who they have on their team. They're so weak. Philly, they got Jalen Hurts as their running back. Detroit, not really anybody. Cleveland, they don't have anybody. Carolina, they got McCaffrey. If he's healthy for 3 or 4 games is all you get. Jacksonville doesn't have any offense. Washington, I think they have some sort of running back, but not good. Oakland, nobody. San Diego, I think, has that. I didn't really do running backs, but San Diego's got a good running back. Eckert, I think. Green Bay, I don't know if Aaron Jones is still there, but they do get the kid from Oregon, Baylor, who is really good. I don't know if they'll play him. Minnesota has Cook. The Giants have Barkley. Tennessee has Henry. Kansas City is Chocolatey Claire. Arizona, I don't recall who they have. Tampa Bay's got some good runners. Dallas has Elliott. Denver, I don't have a clue. And Seattle has a really good running back, but he's hurt, is the Walker, the kid from Michigan State. He's going to be a good running back. I want to know where Cook, the guy from Georgia, went. He's a really good running back. And there was a couple of the kid from Baylor, the kid from Oregon State. Where are they? Paired with what? Take them with Alabama, Alex. Rams with Alabama. But I'll give you another pro pick, Cincinnati if you want, or play Cincinnati with Alabama if you don't have time. But take the Rams there, and you got the other 5 games I gave you, so you know who else you can play them with. You don't need timing with the running like you do with the receivers. So let's go into the games. New Orleans, Atlanta. Give me a score. I think Atlanta's terrible. Let's look at the quarterbacks. Winston and Mariota. Neither of them are NFL quarterbacks. The best player on the field is Kamara. I think Thomas is back. The wide receiver from New Orleans was out for 2 years with his foot or knee or whatever. Finally is supposed to play. That'll give them a huge edge. Atlanta lost Julio Jones. Basically, they got the tight end from Florida last year who didn't do much. But they don't have a quarterback. Mariota is not a quarterback. So I look at that game, and if I break it down, I can't take Atlanta in 11. I can't take New Orleans. I can't trust Winston not to throw 3 picks. Mariota can't hit the broadside of a barn. I think the only way to play this game, over-under is 42.5 is to go under. God, I went from 41.5 to 42.5. Who the hell is betting this game over? When you make bets on over-unders, it's all quarterback. So when we get Rodgers against Brady, we're betting that game over. Or when we got Breeze and Manning, those are over bets. We do it in college. We got Van Dyke for Miami, Rising for Utah. We're betting it over. Alabama, Ohio State. Those are over plays because you got good quarterbacks. When you have shit quarterbacks, how are you going to play? Where are you going to score? So because of the quarterbacks, you got to go under in the game. New England, Miami. 3.5, 46.5. So that spread moved from 2.5 to 3.5. And from 44.5 to 46. Okay, I'm going to play the Riddler for this time. Why would this game, who in the world is betting a game with Tate Tagliabue and Mac Jones over? Unless I guess they're from Alabama. You got to be out of your mind. Tagliabue can't throw a pass more than 5 yards. I don't care. Tarek Hill's got to be an idiot to go to Miami. No, who's going to throw him the ball? Tagliabue can't throw the ball 20 yards. And it ain't Kansas City, and you got no coach. And Mac Jones, Zappe should be the quarterback from Western Kentucky there. So with Jones and Tagliavoa, another, do you trust Miami to win the game? No. Do you trust New England with Jones to win the game? No. So you can't trust either quarterback. I give you a score 20-10. And it could be either team with the 20. Miami has been playing New England better in Miami. I'm gonna go under on this game, 46 under 52. You got to be kidding me. I just don't see it. I don't see where you're going to get points from with these two quarterbacks. Niners and the Bears. What's my spread? 6.5 and 40. The 6.5 stayed. The line went from 42 to 40. Again, Garoppolo, who stinks, and Fields, who keeps waiting to play Purdue. You just saw Notre Dame, Ohio State, and everybody made money because I gave you Ohio State last week. Line 9.5, 10. So it just showed you that they're really not, they don't know how to read defenses. Fields can't read a defense. What do you see when Brady and Rodgers come up to the line? They look, aha, this guy's blitzing. This is where I'm throwing. They call an audible, and it goes right to the guy. And you know that's what they're doing, right? It's very obvious. They can read the blitz, and they can read the play to run. They know what they're going to do before they get the ball. Fields has no idea, and most of these Alabama quarterbacks don't have a clue what they're going to do when they get the ball. They're going to go back. They don't even know where the blitz is coming from. So they're not very intelligent when it comes to football IQ. Garoppolo, we already seen he's useless. So what do? I got Frisco laying 6.5. I can't trust them. I got an over under of 40. I can't trust that I'm going to get points. It's another underplay. Again, 3 weeks. Why are Fields and Garoppolo not playing full games in the preseason? Going to get hurt. They're not. They need the practice, and not in the practice and game practice. They need that type of practice. So basically, I mean, Fields, give me a score. I'm going to give you a 20-10 again. Maybe the Niners win. I just because of their running back, who I can't think of the name, the wide receiver. But I'll take the Niners to win the game, but I'm not going to bet 6.5 down to even. You don't have that type of team. You don't have that type of defense. So, again, it's an underplay. You don't have the quarterbacks to bet that you're going to get a lot of points. Indy and Houston. We got Ryan, who's okay at Atlanta 5 years ago against Jeff Mills, who he sucked at Stanford. If you suck at Stanford, what makes you think you're going to be good in the pros? I don't see him as good in the pros. He hasn't done anything in the pros. How he's even on a team blows my mind. And how he's starting, when you look at Houston's quarterback, Jeff Driscoll, I think he played for Florida, and Allen, who I think was from the University of Houston 5 years ago. These are your quarterbacks? Really? Whoever is their GM should be giving me a call because they don't have a freaking clue what they're doing. This team will not win a game. And again, Indy, I think that line went down to 7. So people are actually betting on Houston at 8 because Indy's a home underdog and over under 45.5. How the hell could that be going on over? So Indy, good running with Taylor. Defense, okay. Houston has no offense. Again, another under. Do you take Indy -1? Maybe I can trust Ryan, but I don't know. He's never played, but I think under 51, I think that's your best way to look at the game. Again, Ryan Okay, he never impressed me at Boston College. He goes to Atlanta. They go to the Super Bowl one year. It's all to Julio Jones, and then where was he? He's just not good. What's he going to do at Indy? Okay, he'll do a little better than Wentz, but everybody thinks the coach is this great offensive mind. He's good with quarterbacks. Really? Yeah, he looked really good last year. Pittsburgh, Cincy. Finally, we get a quarterback, and it ain't Trubisky. You fucking starting Trubisky against Burrow. Are you kidding me? Pitt's an under, and Cincinnati's an A team. Let me quickly go through the A teams and the Z teams. Buffalo and the Rams tonight are both A teams. Cincinnati is an A team. Kansas City's an A team. Tampa's an A team. Dallas is probably a B team. That's it. That's all I can get. This is why Green Bay I got as a B team. Probably a B plus. Probably them and Dallas are close to being A teams. We'll give them. This is the problem in pro football. When we talk college, you got Georgia, you got Alabama, you got Baylor, you got Oak State, you got UCLA and Utah, Michigan and Ohio State. You got teams coming out of your butt that are A teams. You can't find, I can find, Kansas City, Tampa, Cincinnati, the Rams, and Buffalo. I can find 5 really good A teams and a couple of B's. The problem with the NFL is E team, E team, E team, E team, E. And I got 5, 6, 7, 8 E teams, which means they score 25 and give up 25, which means you can't bet on any of them. The Z teams now are the Giants, Jacksonville, Detroit, the Jets, Houston. You got 5 shitty Z teams. Most of the teams are E's and unders. So you're either betting the game under or you can't, or you're betting against the Z. You can't take the E teams are unpredictable in a game. So Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, I got A against an under in Pittsburgh. They're starting Trubisky. We saw him at Chicago. We saw him at North Carolina. What makes you think he's in? See, this is what bothers me about pros. Well, he's got experience. Hey, Benella, just going through pros right now, Benella. Questions, comments, give me a quick. We're taking the dog tonight, the Rams, with Alabama. That's your free pick. You got 1 minute to get that in. I apologize. But really, I just kind of threw in this one. Take Cincinnati and Alabama as the free pick. Cincinnati Bengals. So as we're talking, Trubisky, all right, the defense, okay. Cincinnati, you got Burrow and Chase, enough said. Now they won't be as rusty because they play together and they are familiar with each other. They got a good defense. They're an A team. Pittsburgh will not beat them with Trubisky. The last few games, Cincinnati's killed them. I don't see that changing. So that's probably the one. This team's going to win, and I'm feeling pretty good. Maybe a little with Indy over Houston just because Houston's bad, not Indy's good. Here at Cincinnati, at home with Burrow will be better. I pray they get Bote. He was very pissed off, and I'm going to quickly sidebar to that because I'm talking LSU right now. 3 or 4 wide receivers for LSU were pissed off. I assume because Brian Kelly went with the running quarterback. You got Jerry Rice and you got I don't know. I can't even think receivers. You got Jerry Rice, you got Terrell Owens, and you got God, I can't think of receivers. And you got Don Maynard. I'll give it for the Jets. You got those 3 receivers. Who the hell is your quarterback going to be? You go with a running. You got Lamar Jackson as your quarterback, really? LSU has a very good passing quarterback from a couple years ago who got injured, who was there, gets beaten out by this guy. This guy sucked. He's a running quarterback. What are you doing? You got 3 all-pro wide receivers in college on your team, and you go to a running quarterback? Are you serious? Florida State is not that good. Had them beat. I'm sorry. I don't buy any of that. That's just freaking ridiculous. So that's all I'm saying about that is Brian Kelly's out of his freaking mind. He doesn't understand the whole concept of the running, passing quarterback, and you got superstar receivers, and you're bringing in a running quarterback. I thought LSU would challenge Alabama and Georgia this year. No chance. They're not even a 500 team with this garbage. The quarterback sucked. Again, a running quarterback. You've got receivers like this, and you got this guy as a running quarterback. Are you out of your mind? So anyway, back to Cincinnati, back to Joe Burrow, back to Jamar Chase. They're the one team I kind of trust. Take Cincinnati. That's your free play. Cincinnati. We'll play them with Alabama. Baltimore against the Jets. 744.5. That's about what I got. 7-45. How much do you trust Lamar Jackson? And now you got Flacco for the Jets, who I like a lot better than Wilson. My friend said, well, should I bet Baltimore because it's Flacco? And I'm like, I'm more worried about Flacco, that he's good. I believe didn't he win a Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, and he beat Denver on Peyton Manning on that 50-yard pass that should have been knocked down. Flacco's not a bad quarterback. So I'm not buying. I'm taking Baltimore because I'm going against Flacco. Excuse me, I'm having a very late dinner. So in my mind, now what do I do? Well, Jackson, we know, is a terrible quarterback, a good running back. He'll run. His receivers won't do crap. There's no timing because he hasn't played in the preseason. Flacco, I think, must have played a little in the preseason. Over under 45. Where do you see this game going? I don't see the Jets scoring a lot. Baltimore, pretty good defense. They'll run Jackson a lot. Maybe 23-7. And don't get me wrong. I'm picking a score, but when I have to play a team, I don't trust that. I think that it'll be low scoring. So, again, it's another under with Baltimore and the Jets. I don't think the Jets can score. They don't have any talent. Flacco will be okay. He might get you 10 points, and they might hold Baltimore to 13 or 17. But at the end of the day, I think the best play is going under. Philadelphia, Detroit, Hurts against Goff, two terrible quarterbacks. Philly's an even, Detroit's a Z. Can't bet Detroit. I can't trust Philly at home or on the road to win. They're an E team. They're laying 4.5. Let's see, what do I got? Philly 48.5. 48.5. Again, I don't understand why you'd be betting any of these games over. There's one or two, a Brady, a Mahomes, a Rodgers. Maybe I can bet them over. You're betting Jalen Hurts and Goff over. Another first team to 20 win. This is like 20-17. And again, when I say it, I don't know who the winner is. I just see a low-scoring game. Detroit, maybe they run a little bit. Maybe they pass. I don't know. I can't trust Goff. He'll throw 3 interceptions. Hurts, he wants to run. Can't hit the broadside of a barn. I don't see at 48.5, this is definitely an under. At 46, it was pretty much an under. That's 54.5. Where are they going to find 54.5 Hurts and Goff? I know Schwartz, the defense coordinator of Philly, will love to beat Detroit, and he'll pressure Goff. Goff will panic, throw his interceptions. So I don't think Detroit's going to score a lot. Maybe they get that fourth quarter or we'll get the late touchdown. Philly with Hurts, they're not going to score a lot. Now, again, the problem is Detroit has no defense, but they don't have an offense. Philly with Hurts doesn't have an offense. They got a defense. They'll run the ball. I just don't see this with these quarterbacks going over. Cleveland, Carolina. Can somebody please explain why this game went to pick? So Carolina was a 3. Then they were 1.5. Now they're a pick, and it's 42. So the over-under I saw 42, 41.5, back to 42. This is – who's the quarterback of Cleveland? Anybody tell me that? Is it going to be Dobbs from Tennessee? Or no, Jacoby Brissett. Okay. So the line moved because of Jacoby Brissett against Mayfield? Well, I hate to tell you, but Mayfield's the better quarterback. I don't mind Mayfield. McCaffrey will run for Carolina. I don't know what they got at receiver. Cleveland doesn't have receivers. They do have a good running back. I do like their running back, Cleveland. Again, another under. I just don't see where they're going to get points. And with the teaser, 48 points, where are you going to find 48 points? So, again, another underplay. I don't see where they're going to score. And, again, keep in mind, you got basically the exhibition season, nobody plays. There is no way you get timing with the receiver without playing. You know, in practice does not give you the game timing. Nobody's in game shape. Nobody's going to tackle and block. Hey, Derek, there's going to be scoring in the Detroit-Philly game. Well, I'm not saying it's going to be 0-0, but where are you going to get the scoring? How's Detroit going to score on Jim Schwartz? He knows how to beat him. And Jared Goff's the biggest choke, one of the biggest chokes. So I don't see it. And Jalen Hurts is not going to score a lot for you. So I see the over-under very high at 48.5. So you get under 54.5. That's 31-24. Where are you going to find 31-24 in that game from these quarterbacks? Sorry, I don't see it. Yes, Detroit has a weak defense. Philly, I think, has a pretty good defense. I know Schwartz is a good coach. So that's another thing. Again, the timing's going to be way off between the receiver and the quarterbacks. So you're looking at a very low first half. You're looking at a good fourth quarter because by then everybody will be tired. You did college already, or are you starting with NFL today? I'm doing NFL today. College, I'll probably do college right after this. I'll probably keep this to a pro and then go to a college to just make it simple. If you're watching, do you want to watch the pro or the college? So I will probably do it like that. Is there a game you're interested in, Vanilla? Let me know. So I'm giving you a free pick, Cincinnati with Alabama. I've got 5 locks going in college. If you're interested, I love college and NFL. I love college more. I think it's easier. We make a lot more money in college. I found 5 locks in college. I can't find any locks in the pros yet. After about week 3, I'll probably find it. As I'm saying, maybe Cincinnati, that's probably the best play on the board, but I'm not locking it against Pittsburgh. But as I'm going down, I mean, the best plays are these unders. Louisville UCF game tomorrow. Well, all right. Excuse me for going to college. UCF, I got, I believe, 6.5, 61. UCF's an over team. They have a pretty good quarterback. Louisville supposedly is an over team. They have a good I like their coach, Hugh Freeze. They have a pretty good quarterback, although he didn't show up against Syracuse. Unless Syracuse has a Clemson defense, he didn't show up. They only got 7 points. My first inclination is I like UCF at home, but they don't have a defense, and it's hard to bet on a team without a defense against Louisville, who has a pretty good quarterback and offense, but they're new. Over under, I see it 61, might have moved. I'll have to check that, but right now I'm in the pros. I would superficially, I would take the over because I know UCF's going to score a lot. They'll score 35, 40 points on Louisville, and Louisville should score a lot, but again, when they get going. So I would probably go over 55 in that. I don't know that I can trust UCF's defense to stop Louisville, and I got a feeling Louisville will start, although I hate these. They played Saturday, and now you're making them play. Well, I guess it's tomorrow, so Friday night's not as bad. But I would I can't trust a team without a defense. It's very hard to win with. That's where you lose. You win with defense, right? You bet defensive teams. You lose with offense. You know, the offensive team, that's where the upsets happen. You think they score a lot. Oh, they're going to win, like a Texas, right? Well, when Texas plays Alabama, Alabama is going to shut them down, and they can't shut Alabama down. And that 20-point line is going to be done by the first half. And I don't know that I can trust Texas. I love the over, but I don't know if I can trust Texas to score on Alabama. But I know Alabama's going to score on Texas. I'm taking the better defense. So we always got to go with the better defense. So I would say over 55 is probably a good play if it's still 61. Where am I? All right. So apologize for that. So I don't know. I think Cleveland's got the better runner, although McCaffrey is good. I think it's a running team. I think, again, this is an under. Brissett, I like okay. Mayfield, I like. I've always liked him. I just don't think Carolina's they haven't worked together. They're going to be flat. The first half's going to be scoreless. I just don't see a lot of scoring, and you can go under 48. Jacksonville, Washington. Trevor Lawrence, what a great quarterback he is against Carson Wentz. If this game gets to 10, if one team gets to 10, I'll be shocked. Lawrence, we know, sucks. Can't read a defense. Wentz, we've already seen sucked at Philly, sucked at Indy. What do I got as a point spread? Washington. 2.5, 44. From 4 down to 2.5. Who in God's name is betting Jacksonville? 44, the over-under stayed. Do you want to trust Jacksonville as the dog? No. Do you want to trust Washington? They're going to win? Are you kidding me with Wentz? So you got two terrible quarterbacks. I'm not sold on Antonine, the running back, hasn't played. Washington, they got a good defense, so that helps. So the only play you can make here is go under 44, under 50. I think that's a very good play. Oakland and San Diego. What do we got here? We've got Oakland or San Diego 3.5, 52, and that hasn't moved. That was the first line I got, 3.5 and 52. Oakland's an even team. They don't score that much, but they have it's a 25 to 25 team. A lot of the defenses in the NFL are 22 to 23 to 24. It's amazing how like 3/4 of them are between 21 and 23. Just simply amazing. San Diego over team. Herbert and Carr, both two good quarterbacks. Oakland added Devontae Adams, but it's not Aaron Rodgers. So will Carr. Now, Adams played with Carr at Fresno State, and I made a lot of money on that. So they will be familiar. So I look for Oakland to be live here. San Diego, the over team, can score. Will the layoff hurt these guys? I don't know that Carr gets hurt as much because he played with Adams. Herbert should be okay. Eckert, the good running back, should be good to balance it up. Derek, Louisville played a stinker. They beat UCF late last year. UCF owes them a whooping. I agree, Professor. Sounds like an under. It's hard to play revenge with Louisville with the new quarterback. UCF, Mikey Keene was there last year and beat them. But Louisville loses to Syracuse, who may be a little bit better, but they scored 7 points on Syracuse. Now, they're going to score, like I said, they're going to put up 30 on UCF. They don't have a defense, but UCF's got a hell of an offense. I wouldn't bet Louisville to win the game. I think over is the only play I could make there because I think you have very strong offenses and very strong defense. I think Louisville will be pissed and play better, and they'll be able to move. Now, how good is Syracuse's defense? I have no idea. Apparently better than we think. If they're holding a Louisville offense who's supposed to be good and Hugh Freeze to 7 points. Oakland, San Diego's going over for sure. Well, normally, yes. The problem I have is this layoff, right? Neither of these quarterbacks played in the preseason, if maybe a couple of series. Game 3 of the preseason did they play. Then you have a bye. And I'm telling you, anytime you don't play, it's going to hurt your over. If this was week 4, we'd be locking the over at 52 all day. I can't play it here. I can't play Carr over, and I can't play Herbert over. San Diego does have a defense, and they can get to the quarterback with whatchamacallit, the Ohio State guy, Bosa. Bosa will get there. He'll cause havoc against Carr, going to make him hit Waller and going to make him Devontae Adams. No problem. San Diego can score. So let's go over 46 is 28-20. Will we get that with basically no scoring in the first half? Because of the layoff, you don't have timing. How long is that going to affect everybody? This is the week 1 problem of let's throw a buy-in on week 4. So these guys haven't really played at all for more than 2 series in the whole preseason. And then you're expecting them to go and play a full game. It's just unrealistic. And that's why this first week's very difficult. A lot of overs and unders. Meaning that Cleveland game under. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Washington and Jacksonville, like you said, under. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I would normally go over. Now, the trend on this is actually Oakland. They're the trend. I think it's a fairly even game. But, again, it's a hard one to call because it's week 1. So, yes, what should be an over, I don't think there'll be a lot of points the first half because they got to get you. You know what it's like? It's like the bowl games, right? So you got the Big Ten, you got the Rose Bowl, right? And what do you got? Michigan plays Ohio State, and they go all out, and it ends Thanksgiving, and they don't freaking play again until New Year's Day. And what happens? The Big Ten's always flat in the Rose Bowl the first half. Then they come out the second half, and they're mad, and then they start playing. But the first half, their timing is so screwed up, they can't play. That's what you have here is a bowl game where the team hasn't played in a month. Well, there, at least the team has played a year. Here, these teams have no conditioning, no game shape. This is the problem I have. Now, yes, in the fourth quarter, Oakland, San Diego should light it up, probably score 20 points. If you can figure 46, you're going to get 26 in the first half, then yes, it's an over. I don't know that you can, but you do have 2 good quarterbacks, so I'll give you that. So, again, I don't know. This is probably the best way to play it is take Oakland in the 9.5 because I think it's an even game. Green Bay, Minnesota. Looking at this trend, it's not like Green Bay owns them or Minnesota. It's a dog play. Green Bay laying, let's see, 1.5, 47. And again, these aren't official numbers. This is scores and odds. When I go on Vegas Insider, I get all the casinos, so you might have a half-point difference. Green Bay 1.5. Do you think Green Bay is going to win with Rodgers? Well, Rodgers against Cousins. Cousins could get hurt. What I like is Cook from Minnesota. He will keep the game close. Over under 47. Here with Rodgers and Cousins, I will take the over of 41. There definitely will get into the 20s with Rodgers. Now, this is a whole different animal. Rodgers doesn't need that time, okay? He's the exception to the rule. Brady, Mahomes, Russell Wilson. They don't need the preseason. Trevor Lawrence needs 4 more years in college. Wentz, Carr, okay. Rodgers and Cousins do not need that extra thing. Now, their timing will be off maybe the first quarter, and then they'll start rolling. Rodgers has Baylor, the running back. No, they got the running back from Baylor. No, the running back from Oregon State named Baylor. They got an excellent running back. Plus, I don't know if they still have Jones, the guy from Wyoming, or not. They got good running, so I look for balance. Again, Minnesota's got Cook running, so they have very good balance. This game should definitely get over 41. I don't know what I would play as far as a team. I don't think I can play the team. Green Bay Green Bay plus 4.5, you think's good, but they don't own Minnesota at Minnesota. It's a toss-up. It's a dog a lot. If Minnesota goes favored, then I would jump all over Green Bay as a road dog. Green Bay is not a great road favorite, but they are a very strong road dog. So if Minnie goes favored, then we get some serious money on Green Bay getting 7.5. Right now it's an over because it's only 41. I don't understand it. You've got Philly, Detroit 48, and New England, Miami 46, and here you got Rodgers and Cousins, and it's 47. What the hell? Vegas is so fucked up again. Leave it to the professor to figure that out, right? To figure out what's the better. As I was talking about USC, Alabama on my review on the weekend, and what did I say? I said the better return on investment was USC because they were only laying 32 to a Z team, and Alabama was laying 42 to a B team, Utah State, who wasn't that bad. Now, Alabama did win 55-0, but I'd rather lay 26 with USC. As you saw, they scored 60-something points against the Z team than laying 42 against the B team in Utah State, who, okay, they look like shit against Connecticut, and obviously Alabama's going to make them look bad. But I like, that's what you're trying to do. And then so let's carry it here. Green Bay Minis 47, and then you've got New England Miami 46. Are you kidding me? Green Bay Minnesota is 100 times of a better bet than the New England Miami, unless you're going under New England Miami, which we are. This is a much stronger over with Rodgers and Cousins. You got Aaron Rodgers against Jones and Tagovailoa. Are you kidding me? So take this game over. If you get mini -1 or 1.5, then we're going to lock Green Bay in 7.5. Right now, it's not a lock. Right now, take the over. The Giants in Tennessee, Jones and Tannehill, two quarterbacks that should not be in the pros. We're really wondering why the hell they are in the pros. Where is that game? Come on. Well, there we go. Giants, Tennessee. We got Tennessee 5.5 and 43.5. So it was 44. This took me all of 1 second to pick. You got to go under 49.5. Where are you going to get 20 points from? If either team hits 20, I'll be shocked. Tennessee's going to run Henry and run Henry and run Henry, and the Giants are going to run Barkley and run Barkley and run Barkley. Jones can't hit the broadside of a barn. Tannehill, he doesn't have a receiver. Julio Jones went back to Alabama to play, I think, because his hamstring's still going to be bothering him. And the other guy, I want to say Brown or Jones, went to another team. He doesn't have a receiver. It's going to be handoff Henry, and the same thing with Barkley. So you're going to get a lot of running. You're not going to get any points in this game. They both have decent defenses. So I am thinking that how are you going to get to 50 in this game? This is definitely an under game. All right. Now we get into some good games. Kansas City, Arizona. KC's 5.5 was 3.5. A lot of money going on KC. Over under 53.5. It was 52.5. Oh, what do we do? We got Mahomes and Murray. Mahomes, obviously, superstar. Murray, he had his moments, and then he got into the playoffs and looked terrible. Vanilla, 420. A.J. Brown got traded to there you go. Thank you, Vanilla. Yeah, A.J. Brown. So Tennessee doesn't have A.J. Brown, and they don't have Julio Jones. Who the hell? Tannehill sucks anyway. Who's he going to throw it to? You're going to put 9 in the box to stop Henry. Tennessee will put 9 in the box to stop Barkley. You're going to see a bunch of – it'll be like an old Michigan-Ohio State game where, it's a 10-10 tie. I mean, you're not going to get points. KC, Arizona, Mahomes and Murray. Obviously love Mahomes, best quarterback. And he's not a runner. He buys time and throws the ball. He's added Juju Schuster from Pittsburgh. So he got rid of Hill. And I don't blame him because Hill wanted $30 million. And if you pay Mahomes $30 million and Hill $30 million, you don't have any backups. This is professional football where every player who plays is hurt. It could be an arm, a hand, a foot. Everybody is hurt. You cannot afford to pay Mahomes and Hill $30 million. You had to get rid of them. And they brought in Smith-Schuster, who's very good. Believe me, Mahomes will make you look good. They still have Kelsey, and they got Chocolatey Claire. Kansas City, I'm not worried about. They will be fine. Their defense, they need a little work with. And then you have Kyler Murray. Now, what's going to hurt Murray and why the line went up is because the receiver's out. Damn it. Just a second. I'll think of it after I read the name. Okay. Arizona injury. It's the wide receiver. J.J. Watt's questionable. DeAndre Hopkins. That's who I was thinking about. So without DeAndre Hopkins, Murray doesn't do very well. So keeping that in mind, that's going to really hurt Murray. Now, he likes to scramble. He still throws. I think he's okay, but he's no Mahomes. So Mahomes has a big edge here. 53.5. Are you going to get over? I would think so. Will KC get 40? I don't know. Arizona's defense, do they have running? They're going to run Eclair a little bit. Arizona, I think they have some running backs. It's probably an over, but it's a high over in week 1. So got to be careful with it. I think almost I'd take Kansas City even. With DeAndre Hopkins out, I think it becomes a Kansas City play. Thus why the line goes from 3.5 to 5.5. With no Hopkins, Mahomes will win the game with Kelsey, and I think that's the way you got to look at it. I don't think it'll bother them playing in Arizona. And Arizona, frankly, is not a strong home dog. They're a weak home dog. So I look at Kansas City, probably get the win. Do I go over? Normally I would week 1. Again, I don't think Mahomes needs to practice. I think Murray does. I think the 4 weeks of preseason when nobody plays will hurt Arizona more. So I think KC wins the game. I'm curious to see Kansas City defense. Yeah, well, I don't know. I like Spagnolia on when he was on with the Giants and they went to the Super Bowl and won it. But he doesn't always play well. He couldn't be a good coach. He tried being the head coach. He wasn't good. I think it's just all on clear how well he runs. Will keep it balanced. If Casey is balanced, they will not lose the game to Arizona. Can Arizona run the ball? And without Hopkins, what are they going to do? So, is Larry Fitzgerald? Did he retire? I don't know. I mean, I know he's old, but he'll be very important if he's there. Tampa Bay, Dallas. Tom Brady. We got Tom Brady. We got Tampa Bay 2.5, up from 1.5. And we got 50.5, down from 52.5. Now, I don't know why this spread would go under. You got Brady and Prescott. And everybody's going to yell at me, but I prefer Greer over Prescott. Trask is going to be dynamite. The kid from Florida backs up Brady. If Brady gets hurt, Trask will be fine. He's a very good quarterback, much better than Gabbert. But okay, Prescott, Brady, Zeke Elliott. CeeDee Lamb, I see, is injured, but I'm sure he'll play. They got rid of one of their receivers, I thought. Brady, I don't know, is Gronk playing this year or not? This is a 50.5. I don't know. I trust Tampa to win, but I do trust over 44.5 with Brady. This is one of those few exceptions to the over. Over Aaron Rodgers, over Brady Prescott. Dallas should score. Tampa's got a good defense. No Gronk. Okay, so we don't have Gronk. We still have their other receivers, and their tight ends were fine, who they were backing up with. So I can't believe Gronk's not playing. That's so strange. I'll probably come like 2 weeks before the playoffs. Gronk will show up. So again, Brady, he will not lose the game. 2.5. I like Tampa and 3.5 here, just because it's Tampa getting over a field goal. I don't think you don't blow out Tampa. Not with Dallas. They don't have the defense, but I like the over. I like Tampa in the 3.5, I think. And last but not least, Denver, Seattle. Russell Wilson and Denver against Seattle. Good revenge here. What do we got? We got 6.5. Wow, that line went from 4.5 to 6.5. And 44.5. That was 41. Wilson against Locke. Obviously, Russell Wilson, far, far better. Drew Lock, good at Missouri, but they didn't win a lot. They scored a lot of points. They're in trouble if Locke gets hurt. Geno Smith and Eason, or I don't even think Eason's on the team anymore. I mean, this is all Denver. Although Denver, their defense isn't as strong. I don't think Von Miller's there anymore. I'm sure he's gone. So is Denver's defense. How good is Denver? Yes, they got Russell Wilson versus Locke. I'm not worried about Seattle as a home dog. They weren't winning as a home dog with Russell Wilson. I think he goes back. You got to keep your eye on Coach Pete, best coach in the league. He will find a way to keep it competitive if he has to run or whatever he does. So I look 44. What do you do? This is probably an under. Seattle's not going to score. Russell Wilson, they'll run the ball. I think they have some running. I think this is an under 50. I don't know where you're going to get it from. Geno is the starter over Locke. Oh, okay. I really like Seattle or Denver. Geno Smith, maybe he's okay. Trying to think, was he the guy? I think it was Tyrod Taylor who all of a sudden started playing well. I still got to like Russell Wilson in this. Maybe that's why the under went from 41 to 44. It's a tough game. I got to go with Russell Wilson to win the game, though. Locke lost the job. Well, that's not surprising. But I don't think Geno Smith's really the answer. How do you go from Russell Wilson to Geno Smith? Unbelievable. But I still think at the end of the day, Russell Wilson will win the game in Seattle to beat him. So that's your NFL free pick. Well, the free pick was tonight, the Rams, but let's go with Cincinnati because it's already past kickoff. And Alabama in the college. That's your free pick. 5 locks going in college already, posted, put up, done. Really love them. Very strong. One's a 21 unit, and one's a 15 unit. It's just from watching and learning what I saw last week. I said, this is ridiculous. So this is the pros. Do I like Maryland minus 27? Well, it depends on if Reynolds is playing for Charlotte. If Reynolds is playing, I like the game over. Reynolds is the quarterback from Charlotte. He's very good. He got hurt in the first week. That's why they lost to Bill and Mary, because he didn't play. If he's out, yes, I do like Maryland. If he plays, I like the game over. How does Iowa be a favorite over anybody? Well, they beat a good South Dakota State Jackrabbit team without a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, you got to take Iowa State there, or just the over-under is like 40.5. I mean, what a great under that is. Iowa State. Excuse me. Iowa State has an excellent defense also. I love their coach, and that's what they do. They've had good running backs the last few years. This kid will be good. The quarterback looked pretty good. I definitely think Iowa State's a good dog, and I definitely think it's a good under, because how the hell is Iowa going to score? But their defense will keep it low. That's a prototypical under team. So if Iowa plays Clemson and the over-under is more than 15, we lock the under. But that's exactly what you're looking for, a strong defense with no offense. Clemson, Iowa. Georgia, I don't know about anymore. They scored too much. Now they're just an A team and just bet them and lay the wood. Where before, Georgia didn't have that offense, so you could just bet them under. Now they're going to score a little bit. We just bet Georgia. Thoughts on Tennessee and Pitt? I'm surprised Tennessee's favorite. I thought Pitt would be favored at home. I like the game over because Tennessee is just an explosive team with Hooker, and showed it last week. That was my lock, was Tennessee over, what was it, Bowling Green? I always get that mixed up between the UCLA lock and that. Yeah, it's Ball State. Ball State's not a bad team. They put up 50-some points. Hooker looked very good, 59 points against a not a bad Ball State's an E team, and their defense is like 25-26. They're not that bad. And then Pitt, I like Slovis. Now, had Pickett gone and it was a new quarterback, I'd be all over Tennessee -1. But because Slovis is there from USC, I like Pitt. Pitt I got as I got Pitt. I got Pitt as a B team. But what did they do last week? They my mind's on pros right now, so let's go back to the list. Pitt, they beat somebody. Oh, they beat West Virginia 38-31. So scoring 38 on West Virginia, and Tennessee putting up a 59 on a pretty decent Ball State team. I don't see how this game doesn't get into the 90s. At least the 80. This is definitely a 45-40 game. That's 85. We're looking at least it was a 65-59. It's an over for sure. It's a right over-under, 65-59. You can still be in the 50s. That's a good over. If the game went to 73-74, I'd have a hard time playing it over. Hard to play 70s over. But when you get it in the low 60s and you can go to 50, that's a good over to get to. That's a halftime score with these two teams. Little disappointed. Georgia's got like a Division II team. Can't bet them. That's what I hate about it. UCLA Division II, Clemson's got a Division II, Georgia's got a Division II, and Alabama's got a Division II in Texas. Definitely like Alabama. That's the free pick. So free pick, Cincinnati pros, Joe Burrow, and Alabama. Alabama, I don't see how Texas is going to stop them, and Alabama's got enough defense to stop Texas. And you're only laying 14. 20 down to 6 is 14. Is very doable for Alabama because they get rolling, they pound you. And I don't see Texas stopping them. They don't have the defense. Alabama does. What do I got? Yeah, I got Texas as an over, which means they score a lot, but they give up a lot. This is a game you want defense. Alabama, of course, with the defense. Over or under of 61.5 I got, and this is probably a day or two ago. Well, the key is I know Alabama will score 40. Is Texas going to keep up with them? I don't know that they can against this defense. Utah State is a B team who has a very good offense, and they got shut out. So would it surprise you if they hold Texas to 10 points? No. 40-10 is not preposterous in Alabama, Texas. So how do you bet the game over? How do you bet an Alabama game over? We locked the game with Georgia under in the championship game and won it, right? That you can do because of Alabama's defense. We locked the Cincinnati-Alabama playoff game under because you had a great defense in Cincinnati and not a great offense in Alabama's defense, and it was exactly the way I saw it. And you can do unders with those type of teams. You can't do overs. Very hard to go over with Alabama unless maybe the Tennessee game we can go over. If they played Miami of Florida with Van Dyke, we could go over. But that's it. I mean, unless you have a superstar quarterback, you're not going over. And I don't think Texas is really capable. Maybe they get 20 is about it. So 40-something to 20. I'd rather lay the 14. Derek, how is Florida a 7-point favorite over Kentucky? I think it's overreaction from the Utah game. Yeah, I love Kentucky in the game. No, what it is everybody's on Richardson thinking he's the next. I don't know who you think. Cam Newton, I guess. I don't buy it. I mean, Utah had him beat. Utah had the ball at the goal line. And the running back fell down at the 3, or he's in, and then they don't get it on 4th and 1. Then at the end of the game, he throws the interception. So Utah should win the game. Now, Kentucky is not as good as Utah, but very close to it. They are a very strong team. They got a good quarterback, good running backs, good defense. Kentucky's a very strong team, probably better than Florida. I like the Kentucky as the dog in this game all day long. They could easily win the game. Their overreaction to Richardson for some reason. He didn't have good stats. He wasn't 21 of 22, 5 touchdowns and 400 yards. He didn't do any of that. He ran a little bit, but even that he didn't really do. He wasn't a Lamar Jackson running the ball. Rising was a much better quarterback, and the Kentucky kid's just not as good as Rising, but he's a very good quarterback. I have no problem with Kentucky. I think they can easily win this game. I think it'll be 24-23, 27-24. This will be a very close game. Definitely take the dog. Definitely Kentucky can win the game. So I would not tease Florida -1 ever in this game. I would take Kentucky in, I think I took them at 5 or 6, but now they're 7. I get 13. Bet them again. I mean, that's a joke. I mean, Kentucky is a very live dog in this game. They're a very good team. So that's what you have. So you have the pros. We'll go through them again. So we took the Rams tonight, 8.5, just playing the dog. The under in the Atlanta game, Miami, New England under, Frisco, Chicago under, Indy, Houston under, under Pitt, Cincy, Baltimore and the Jets, under Philly, Detroit, under Cleveland, Carolina, under Washington, Jacksonville, under Oakland, San Diego. I like Oakland. Green Bay Mini, we go over. Giants, Tennessee, under. KC, Arizona, KC. Tampa Bay, Dallas, Tampa 3, as long as you get 3.5. Otherwise, maybe an over, and then Denver, Seattle, Denver. A lot of unders because the quarterbacks suck. Ryan and Mills, Garoppolo and Fields, Jones and Tagliabue, Winston and Mariota. Where are you going to get points from with that garbage? I don't understand. I got 10 quarterbacks in college better than these clowns. Man, wait till Rising and Van Dyke. I mean, they're 100 times better than Fields and Tagliabue and Jones. But because they went to Alabama and they put up all these numbers, they think they're good. Rising is 5 times better than either of them, and so is Van Dyke at Miami and McCall at Coastal Carolina. These guys are much better than this garbage. Buffalo is winning right now. Okay, I'm here, but that's fine. They play 4 quarters. Well, that's fine. They still play 4 quarters. Talk to me at the end of the game, and we'll see where the score is. And again, I didn't play it. I just kind of played it here just to have people wanting to play tonight's game, but I did not touch this game. So that's the pros, the college, 5 locks. www.teaserking.com. You get your locks. It's a good time to play a 5-team teaser or more. I got other games that are very strong. I posted on Monday because it was one of those, I just looked at it and said, Jesus Christ, lock. They're very easy games at that point. Just looking at it, I checked the injuries, nothing serious. So went with 5. I played 3 other games, I think. And I still got to add Alabama to my sheet, but it's the free play, so I'm going to be playing them. And I like the Bengals. I like Joe Burrow. I'll be betting on him against Trubisky. If it was still Roethlisberger, I probably wouldn't play it. But he killed Roethlisberger last year, both games. So that's it. Again, www.teaserking.com. Sign up. Get the picks. You get the strengths. Now, a question that Nick asked was, well, you have a lock, but your units don't equal. So in other words, I played a 3-unit game for 150 instead of 350. He's like, well, why? I thought they had to equal. And I said, no, it depends. You're looking at units. So when I give you a play and I give you a big unit, I'm expecting you to bet however much you would bet on a bigger unit play than a smaller unit play. So a 3-star versus a 5-star, I expect you to bet more on the 5-star. Now, it's whatever your units are. You might play $10 a unit. You might play $100 a unit. Play $1,000 a unit. Just because it's like a 10-unit play, I'm not expecting you, if you're a $100 player, to bet $1,000 on the game. But I am expecting you to bet more on that play than a 5-unit play. So make sure you get your units. Your play should be more on a bigger units. I like the game more. The smaller units are going to, like Alabama's not a lock. I would expect you to play Alabama for 100, but I would expect you to play the lock for 300 or 400 or 500, whatever your units are. So depending on your units, mine are a little smaller this year because of all the gold and silver. My money's tied up in that. And off you go. Oh, I wanted to show the family. Let's see. I had an interesting article. If I can find it. I'm going to read it to you because it's not going to be. So here's the article. Russian new gold exchange will change the game. So Russia is coming out with a gold exchange. What do we bitch about? We bitch about market here that gold is that COMEX fake, phony amount, not the real market amount. In other words, the real market, like, Tampa Bay 2.5 over Dallas is a real market line. Gold at 1,800 is not real market. It's a fixed price. They're keeping it down so people can buy it. It's not the real price. So what's happening is Russia has all this gold and China has all this gold, and they want it to go to the real market price, which is much, much higher than the 1,800. So reading this, Russia planning to establish their own gold standard and precious metals exchange after getting banned by the LBMA, which is the London Base Metals Exchange or whatever. However, this goes beyond just creating a marketplace to sell their own gold. Russia is looking to form an alliance with other commodity superpowers such as China and India to destroy the monopoly of the London exchange and the Western gold exchanges. This might be part of their plan to take down the US dollar as well. Here's what you must know. So what they're saying is, we got all this gold, but it's at 1,800 an ounce. We want to get off of COMEX, which is a monopoly price fixing tool. It's not market. We want our gold to be much higher. We want the gold to be what the real price is, not the bullshit price fixed price. That's why they're doing it. That's why I keep saying buy your gold. It'll jump to a minimum of 10 to 15,000 right away and then get up to 30, 40,000 an ounce. This is why I keep saying it. It's a lock. It's, in other words, if COMEX is doing football, it would be Pittsburgh 7 points over Cincinnati. And we'd all go, oh, Jesus Christ, how is that? Burrow, was he hurt? That's what COMEX is. COMEX is Pittsburgh laying 7 to Cincinnati. The real market is Cincinnati -6. COMEX is gold at 1,800. The real market is gold at 25,000. Russia and China have all the gold and India, so they want it. It's in their best interest to get it to that 20,000. The U.S. is price fixing it because they don't want anybody buying it. They want everybody to own the dollar, and therefore they don't want anybody in gold, and that's why they keep the price down, because then people will be like, oh, well, if the price is low, I don't want to invest in it. I had this great analogy in the pool today. And my analogy is, you ever buy a Rolex and they're like $20,000, $30,000? And if you buy a Rolex, are you buying it because you think it's going to go to 100,000, or you just the prestige of owning a Rolex? Look at, I got a Rolex and it cost me 20 grand. Well, that's the market price. It's the 20 grand, but you're not expecting, I don't know. I don't own a Rolex and I don't invest in watches. But are you expecting it to go to 100, or are you just buying it because it's a Rolex and you paid 20 grand for it? Well, in gold, that's why is it so different with gold? I own gold. It should be prestigious, number one. And number two, you want it. Why isn't that 20 grand? I mean, if Rolex is 20 grand, gold's real money, should be worth more. And if people pay 20 grand for a Rolex, you don't think people are going to pay 20 grand for gold. And the difference is Rolex won't go up to 100 grand. Gold will, because gold's money. And guess what? The whole fucking world wants gold because every country's inflating their dollar, making them worthless. So you would pay 20 grand for a Rolex. Would you pay 20 grand for an ounce of gold? Absolutely, in a heartbeat. Because you want to own the gold, not for prestige, because it's safe. But you could easily, and I get this question a lot, well, what do you do with the Rolex? Well, what do you do with it? Okay, my family who owns Rolexes, what do you do with it? Do you put it in a safe at night? Do you never take it off your arm? Do you go certain places and not wear it? Do you go to the pool with the Rolex, put it in your locker? Or do you lock it in the car or lock it at home? How do you get rid of it? What if I want to sell the Rolex? What if I need the 20 grand? Where do I go and sell it? Same questions I get with gold. What do you do? I got a safe. I put my gold in the safe. If I had a $20,000 Rolex, I think I'd be wearing it around? Hell no. So it's the same thought. So that's kind of what I was reading. So I just wanted to pass that on. Anyway, so that's what we got. Those are your pros. Questions, comments, let me know. www.teaserking.com. You can buy the pros. Just the pros, 75. I don't have locks in the pros. I'm giving you Cincinnati with the Alabama. That's the free play. I do have 5 locks in college. You can buy the locks for 75, or you can buy college for 75, or buy college and pros for 1.25. You know my picks, but you don't know which ones. You only know I'm betting on Cincinnati. I gave you the thought analysis as the professor would do for all the games, but I'm not going to bet them all, but I will bet some. So that's, you have an idea. Like Cleveland, Carolina, you can go under in the game, but that's maybe not one of my picks. And, will I take Tampa? Will I, depends where the spread goes, and things like that. So you get the idea of my thoughts on the games, but you don't know. Like I went 10-0 and I locked UCLA and Tennessee. You didn't know I locked them, but because that batters on the strength of the bet, you want to bet them stronger with a bigger piece. So anyway, so that's the pros. We'll do college maybe tomorrow. I'm pretty tired. Again, 5 locks going. www.teaserking.com and go to purchase picks, and you can get my email and Bonilla, who are my thoughts on Tennessee Pitt. I can give you my thoughts in an email on that. If you have a certain game, I would definitely, if you do nothing else, if you buy, then you can pick my brain on the games you like. If you listen to other handicappers, which is, of course, entitled to, try to get my feedback on the games also, because as in gold, there's a lot of idiots out there. I listen to this MGM, bet MGM when I'm in the car going to the pool or going to work, and these guys are idiots. Oh, they're betting on win totals. How the fuck can you bet win totals in the NFL? You can't. Oh, they're going to win. Green Bay's 13 games. What if Rodgers gets hurt? They're going to win 13 games? You got to bet each game as they come, 1 week at a time. After a loss, you bet more. Depending on the games, you might bet over or under. You cannot make that bet. You cannot bet Team A is going to win 10 games or 12 games or 13 games or this or that. You have no freaking way, because it's all injury. You don't have a clue. Now, if somebody gets hurt, now I can bet against the team. I don't care. I'm not going to sit there and take the 10. And what really pisses me off is they'll sit there and talk about the odds. Well, you get 100-1 odds. Yeah, the odds on you, the real odds on that bet are probably 500-1 against. And the odds on you winning are so slim, but you're going to all bet because I'm getting 100-1. Well, if you're just looking for 100-1 bets, go play craps. You got to be kidding me. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Questions, yes, Don. Do you like Memphis -5.5? I really like them. Memphis is playing. Memphis is playing the Navy. I got it 6.5, so they went down to 5.5. How's their run defense? Because if Navy gets the ball, they're not going to give it back to Memphis. Navy's pissed because they lost to, Delaware, who's probably not too bad. It's all, do you think Memphis run defense is going to stop Navy's running? Because if they're not, Memphis will be lucky to win the game. Navy is a unique team. It's very hard to practice against them because you don't see them enough to get the speed of their offense. So I would find a better play than Memphis against Navy because of the Navy offense is extremely difficult to play against. Therefore, is Memphis really that strong? I think didn't they go over? Yeah, well, that was one of my plays last week as I had the Memphis Mississippi State game over 56 and a half, and it was 49-23. So you got Memphis giving up 49 to Mississippi State, which doesn't surprise. Mississippi State scores a lot, and they got 23 on them. But I don't know that that gives you any bearing against Navy if they're going to stop that triple option, because if they can, it's a long day, and they won't see the ball because Navy will do their 13-play, 8-minute drives, and Memphis, they'll score, and, it's a very tough one to play against an Army and a Navy. Derek, you're right, Professor. Football, 4 quarters, touchdown Rams. Well, Derek, what I'm really talking about is since they haven't played in the preseason and they had the bye, these teams are going to be rusty. It's going to take Stafford a while to get used to it. Now, I don't know how the Bills scored, if Allen threw a long pass, or if he ran, or if it was a blocked punt or an interception, but it's going to take time to get their feet wet. Now, Brady and Rodgers, I'm not worried about. Stafford, I'm a little. Allen, I'm very worried about. But you've got to just, you got to really be patient with week one. These passing offenses, what do you think Fields and Garoppolo are going to do? They'll be lucky if they complete 3 passes by halftime. They're not going to do it. Gee, how are you? I've been looking at UNLV versus Kale. I really like the dog in this one. You like UNLV. How do you like UNLV? Kale's 13. Justin Wilcox, good coach for Kale. UNLV, yes, they put up 100 points last week. But as I said, they did it against a Division II team. UNLV's final score is 52-21 against Division II. So what makes you think that that's real? It's a Division II team. Therefore, how do you trust that? Cal's got a pretty good defense. They got a really good coach. It's a good win for them if they beat Vegas. Vegas is normally a Z team. I don't really have them rated yet because the game was a fantasy 55-21 against Division II. Now, if they beat Cal, then I will raise Vegas to an even team or not a B team, but they'll go up to an E team. If they lose by 10-20, they'll be a W. Because then I said, well, they scored 55, but you cannot look at the 55 against Division II and think UNLV's got a good team. They're still a weak team until they beat a good team, at least a Division I team. So, yeah, their quarterback probably got hot. They played, who knows, Division II. That's why you never bet Division II, because you just don't know anything about them. So why bet blind? So, no, I would stay away from Vegas. Take Alabama instead, please. You've got the locks, and you've got the 5th lock. So stick and focus with that. You want to go off of that. Take Alabama. The free play here is Cincinnati, Alabama, Cincinnati Bengals. Play them. Play Kentucky as a dog. We talked about that. But please do not stay away from the Z teams, the UNLVs. Don't look at what they did against the Division II team. So, in other words, here's another game. New Mexico, 41-0. They play a pretty good team this week, a Division I team. They're playing New Mexico. They're playing Boise. Boise's pretty pissed after losing and getting killed by my Oregon State team. So I would not be taking New Mexico this week because they beat a Division II team 41-0, not against a rough pissed off Boise. TK, thank you, TK. I'm definitely learning a lot from you. Well, this is a class. I'm the professor, so I want you to learn. That's why I go into so much depth, because I'm trying to pass on all my knowledge and really help all you guys. That's what this is. This is a class. This is a football class. Where else can you find it? But I am the professor, and this is a master's level class. So you are supposed to learn and take notes. Your homework is to come up with scores. So your homework is give me the final score of the Green Bay, Minnesota game. That's your homework. Every game you should look at without the spread and pick the score. So when the game comes out, Colorado Air Force, forget the spread. What's the score? Then you can bet, because now you go, well, I think it's going to be this. Now let's look at the point spread and go, oh shit, the point spread is way different than what I thought. Now you got a bearing for it. So let's look. Well, we can't. Let's look at Oklahoma State, Arizona State. Give me a score. I think they win by 25, Oklahoma State. They beat a good Central team. Central really scored a lot. I think Oklahoma spreads 11. So I like Oklahoma State -5. That's where the teaser comes in, because I think they'll beat Arizona State because they got a really good team and a good defense, and they're at home. They're in the desert, I would be thinking, but I think they win by in the 20s. So that's how you do it. So then you look at the lines 11, tease it to 5. You get less than a touchdown with Oak State at home against Arizona State, who, when they're not in the desert, aren't as good. They're good because they're in the desert. That's how your mindset's got to be. Look at the game, pick the score, then look at the spread and the over-under. That's how you then determine, wow, I should be betting this. How do you pick a UNLV game when you can't tell me what the score is going to be? Because I can't tell you. I would say UNLV's playing Kale. I'm going to say 30-3. Kale. Because I don't know how UNLV is going to score. Cal's got a good defense and a good coach. I don't buy UNLV scoring 50 against Division II team. Maybe they get 10 points. Now, if they score 30 against Kale, now I change my outlook on UNLV. But because they beat a Division II team, I still think based on last year, they're not good. But again, now we got to get to this year. So we got to watch them. They're not available yet for us to look at. We can look at Ohio State. I gave you the Alabama-Texas score, like 40-20, maybe 45-14, I think. I don't think Texas scores a lot. I think Alabama gets their normal 40 points, lay the 14. That I can tell you because of their defense. They should be able to, even if it's close, win by 20-25. That's fine. We know Alabama. We know Texas. We don't know Vegas. We don't know New Mexico. We don't know the Navy and Memphis. Therefore, coming up with those games, you got to give me a score that makes sense to take them. Derek, I think Air Force wins by 20. I think Pittsburgh sneaks by Cincinnati by 3, Super Bowl hangover. I don't buy Super Bowl hangover. I buy Burrow against Trubisky. Will Burrow be hanged over because they haven't played yet and they haven't really played in the preseason and they had a bye? I would think that would be a bigger thing than the Super Bowl hangover. I like Cincinnati because of Joe Burrow, and I don't like Pittsburgh because of Trubisky, basically. Good defense, but Cincinnati killed them both times last year. So since he knows how to play Pitt's defense. The Air Force wins by 20. I think it'll be more. The Air Force is really strong, and I watched the Colorado TCU game, and Colorado's terrible. I mean, they got a couple of field goals. TCU is not a great defensive team, but they couldn't move on them. Air Force will beat TCU. Air Force is a very strong team, and I love their quarterback. I think 30 points in that game. C, yes, Teaserking. Yes, Teaserking is here. Yep. Hi, C, how are you? Bonilla, Arizona State, Oak State over. I told you take Oak State. Uh, Oak State's got a good defense. Now you're looking at the Central Michigan. They have a great offense. So Oak State had them buried. Arizona State's got a better defense with their coach, Herm Edwards. So I don't know. I think Oklahoma State maybe runs a little bit more. Again, they pilot on against defense, who's not that they're not in Arizona State's class. So you can't really look at last week's game against a weak defensive team and think that. So it's going to be a little harder to score. Take Oklahoma State at home. Oregon. Who's Oregon playing? Or are you saying you're from Oregon? Oregon. Yeah, they look good against Georgia, didn't they? Is Oregon playing this week? I don't recall seeing them. I don't see Oregon. Are you talking? You must be talking this week against Georgia. Yeah, they look good. I was going to say that too, Manila. I thought Michigan beat Hawaii silly 50 plus. Well, probably Hawaii. I mean, Vandy put up 63 on them. Michigan's going through a quarterback controversy where they don't know which starter. So therefore, instead of like sitting on a 35-0 lead, they're apt to keep scoring. And yeah, it's hard to lay 52, but I can see that. Taking Oregon, they play Eastern Washington. Oh my God, why are you playing these Division II games? Tell me anything about that you know about Eastern Washington and give me a score. I don't know Eastern Washington. I don't know if they're a great offense or what, but how do you play this game? How do you play against the team that you have no idea about unless you live there and you know Eastern Washington, like maybe I know Central Michigan? Looking for easy spreads that, well, all right, let's go back to the first week of class at Teaserking. What's the line? Do you even have a line on the game? So the first thing we got to do is find the Z teams. So we locked UCLA, big over Bowling Green, and Tennessee, big over Ball State, and they both killed. You're looking for an offensive team against a Z team. Let's see if we can find that. Where's my Z teams? Michigan, Hawaii, that'll be an easy, but you're laying 52 points. UTEP, New Mexico State, but UTEP's really not an explosive team. Auburn over San Jose State, they're kind of a W team. Syracuse against Connecticut, that should be a good one. Connecticut's playing a little bit. They got a running back. They can't throw, but they're running back. But the way Syracuse handled Louisville, I could see them doing it. Here's what you want. Toledo 30 over UMass. That's your murder. That's what you want. You don't want Oregon, Washington. Well, what's the point spread? Looking for you. Okay, so SE, what is the point spread of that game? It's not on the board. I don't know if it gets on the board until Saturday morning or whatever. All right, let me see if I have a point spread on Oregon, Washington, Eastern Washington. Tell me about Eastern Washington. Are they an explosive team? What do we know about them? How do you bet a team you don't know about? And tell me why Oregon's such a big, are they going to score a lot? I have no idea if Oregon's any good at all. All I know is they put up 3 points on Georgia. They couldn't get a first down. So that doesn't inspire me that they're going to roll. Clemson's got Furman. Look at these games. Here's another one for you. Michigan State, 34.5 over Akron. Akron's a Z team. I don't know how strong Michigan State's offense is, but I would 34.5 is not bad. Oregon. See, it's not on the board yet. Are you getting a spread on that game? All I see is pick, and I haven't even gotten to it yet. Oregon, Oklahoma. Game on the Pac-12 network. I don't have a spread on it, so I don't know what you're looking at. See, that is giving you a line. How do you define an easy spread? Yeah, that's a good question. Probably an over team like Miami playing a Z team. And it's not an easy spread. You still got to win by 40. I mean, look at Alabama. It was 42. Was that an easy spread last week? Sure bet A versus Z team. Well, you really want an over team who can score. D1 versus HBCU example. Well, depends on the HBCU team. How good is Eastern Washington? I like Mississippi State over Arizona by 12. Arizona is a fluke. They're not a fluke. They beat a good San Diego State team. Do not think they're a fluke. I like their quarterback, DeLuca, who was on Washington State last year. This is not the same Arizona team with no quarterback. Do not fall. That's my point. They proved it. They beat a very strong San Diego State and put up 40 on them. Do not take Arizona lightly. That's all I'm saying. They are not a Z team. Get away from it. Arizona is good. They both are over teams. Very good, Glenn. I like Oregon, Ole Miss, Ohio State, Oklahoma, all to cover. Well, I'm not going to comment on Oregon because I don't even know what the point spread is. Ohio State, they looked terrible, didn't they, against Notre Dame? Oklahoma, I like the game over because, my Kent State team, they lost 45-20. They had the worst pass interference call I've ever seen in the end zone. The guy didn't do anything. He just went in front of their guy, and they called him for offensive pass interference. So it should have been 45-24. But that was against Washington. Oklahoma, I'm not sold on Oklahoma. That's more of an over game because Kent State has a great offense. Even in the MAC, they put up 20 points on Washington. That was the first game. I looked for them to put up more on Oklahoma. I'm not sold on Oklahoma. They're just a fast tempo, but now Kent State's got some film on them, and they're a weak defense. That game's going over Oklahoma. Ohio State against, Arkansas State, 44. Arkansas State's an over team. Look at the over-under on that game, 68. They're expecting Arkansas State to put up some points. I don't know that they're going to against Ohio State, although they did beat Notre Dame. They're not coming off a loss, but I don't know about that. 44 is a big number to cover against a team that is an over team. So, again, is Ohio State going to bring in the backup quarterback up 50 points, and then they end up winning by 37? They are very cognizant of the point spread, Ohio State. They always have been. If you need a late touchdown, you'll get it from Ohio State. Look what they did against Dame. I was laying 9.5 and 10. I told you to try to keep it under 10. They win by 11 at the end. They scored a touchdown. So they know the point spread. So 44, 38, maybe. I don't know how strong Arkansas State is offensively. I think they played Division II last week. Yeah, they won 58-3, but it was Division II game, so it was 0-0 as far as I'm concerned. Derek, BYU is good, but I don't think they beat Baylor by 12. The spread's 6? Where are you getting 6? I'm seeing 3. I think Baylor wins the game straight out. I think Baylor's the better team there. balanced team, very good. Won the Big 12. Baylor is going to get the W there. Denver, Seattle under, yeah, absolutely. Most of the pro games are under, especially the ones with the terrible quarterbacks. Jacksonville, they'll be under all year. The Giants, the Jets, where are they going to score? I mean, if they don't get a block punt or something like that, I don't see that they score at all. So roll Tide, absolutely. This is a game that you love the Tide because Texas is good enough to get their attention, but they don't have the defense. You're scared with Arizona against Georgia, and you're scared against them with maybe I thought LSU, but LSU, Kelly's terrible. Maybe Ohio State, you'd be a little bit like Alabama might not win. That's it. Otherwise, Texas got their attention. The defense is going to shut Texas down, and they're going to score because they're scared, and look for them to, like I said, win by at least 24, if not more, and you can lay 14 in a teaser. So Alabama, definitely, that's the free play. Great picks last week on college, and I ran the board. Not only did I ran the board, so if you bought my picks, 10-0, the lock one, Tennessee, UCLA, I gave you USC and Ohio State, but every other pick almost won. Just the ones going through the list, everything was winning. It was unbelievable. The over in the Oak State Central game, it was just, I think I'm at a new level where I'm noticing the over-unders better, and I'm using them more. Like if I can't figure out the winner, can I figure out the over-under? And pretty much I know what to do. Or the Notre Dame game, new quarterback, looked like shit. Ohio State, I'm surprised, didn't score more, but they got enough for us. They got the 11, and the spread was cheap enough. So the key is to watch the spread. If you got a 75, even though they're over teams, you got to be careful. Same thing with the under team, like Iowa this week. The Iowa game, I mean, Jesus, it's 3.5 Iowa, but it's 41. I think it's down to 40. You got to be careful with that. That's an under game all over the place with Iowa. But if it gets to 35, it's really hard to play the under, although I still think it's an under. But you want to be really close to 50. You'd prefer a 44. A 44, that would be a lock under 50, but I still like the game under 47. I think is a very good under. So I think Toledo UMass is the Z team we're all looking for here. Toledo, very strong team, probably wins the MAC, good offense. UMass is the Z team. Connecticut's getting better because they found a running. So are they a Z team? They played Utah State pretty good, but we don't know how good Utah State is. And then they beat Central Connecticut, which is the high school teams around here would beat Central Connecticut. So we don't know how bad. Connecticut plays Syracuse. I would think Syracuse kills them. Toledo kills Mass, the Z teams. MSU, Akron. Akron's a Z team. Michigan, Hawaii. Hawaii is obviously a Z team. But you're going to lay 52 points. Tease it to 46. Doesn't really matter at that point. UTEP, New Mexico State. New Mexico State's pretty much a Z team, but UTEP isn't very strong, but you're only laying 13.5. So you should be able to all you got to do is win by 7.5 against New Mexico State, which UTEP, I take that back to the Nevada, New Mexico State game. Nevada played terrible and won 23-12. So something like that. But that's what you have. And then we're looking for new Z teams. So as we get through the first 3-4 weeks, we then start changing. Now you're a Z team. Now you're an A team, like Central Michigan. They're a great over team, right? And then we got what's Penn State? Penn State and Purdue play at 35-31. Are they over teams now? We don't know. Penn State doesn't seem to have that defense. And Purdue is Purdue, man. They scored. And so can you trust Purdue to score? That's the key, is the trust issue. It's the It's the risk issue. So excuse my finance, but when you look at the team, what we're trying to do is figure out what type of team do we have, and are they going to win, right? We could trust Ohio State was going to beat Notre Dame because we can trust Ohio State. Can we trust Syracuse to beat Connecticut by 19 and a half, 13 and a half? Can we trust them? We don't know. We think we can because they kicked Louisville's ass. So now let's see how good Syracuse is. So that's what we're trying to read. We still see Clemson sucks with the quarterback, but when the other quarterback came in, he looked pretty good. So as long as Clemson is stuck on Ugobly or whatever the hell his name is, they're an under team because that guy sucks. Now, me and you can see it. Why the coach is keeping him out there is beyond me. He must be blackmailing the coach or something, but this guy's terrible. So I don't see why he's out there, but as long as he is, we're going to bet him under. Miami, you got Van Dyke. Now that's an interesting game, Miami of Florida. They got Southern Miss, and they are laying 25, and we all know how good Miami is with Van Dyke. They'll put up 50 on their own. The question is, the over-under is 56 and a half. How good's Southern Miss? Well, I checked them out. They're an even team, and they're really – what did they do last week? I think they played Division II. I think. No, maybe not. Well, then they'd be here. Southern Miss. Southern Miss lost to Liberty 29-27. And they did a lot of running, I noticed. They have a new quarterback. And so 29-27 to Liberty, who's really not that good. What do you do with it? Is Southern Miss going to score points? So when you analyze that game, you know Miami's going to score 50 on them. They got Van Dyke. Question is, does Southern Miss also score in the 40s? You're laying 25. Is it better to lay 19, or is it better to take 56 and a half down to 50 and a half and go over, because you know Miami's going to get you 40 points. So if you think Southern Miss can score, you go over. If you don't think they're going to score, you take Miami. Now, we don't know. Against Liberty, how good's Liberty? Liberty from the year before was an over team. So they held them to 27. So if that's all they scored on an over team, now you got Miami who won. Miami won like 70 to something. They put up a 70 last week, but it was against Division II. They won 70-13 against the Division II. Well, that doesn't surprise me. They scored 70 with Van Dyke. So against Southern Miss, they're at home. New coach. Did he fuck us up? I don't think so. They scored 70. So I think Van Dyke still gets his 50. So you either go 19, you either drop them to 19 or go over 50 and a half. I think you're okay going over 50 and a half because Van Dyke could do the 50 and a half by himself. Will they cover the 19? The unknown is Southern Miss. So now we know Miami, we know Van Dyke, we know they're going to put up a lot of points. Southern Miss, we don't know. We know they played Liberty, okay, but we don't know how good. Liberty's another unknown. They sucked with Willis last year. They got another good running quarterback, but how good are they? And they only scored 27 on. So let's give them 14 against Miami. Let's call it 42-14 to 56. 56 is the over-under. You got to go with Miami over in the game. Based on that, again, you have risks as you don't know Southern Miss. If they score a lot, they're not going to cover the 25, but then the over is a lot. We don't know that, so we can't. So the best we could do is take Miami over with Van Dyke, who we know what we're going to get from Van Dyke, like we knew what we were going to get from Rising at Utah, like we know what we're going to get at USC. We know we know the coach, the quarterback. We know what UCLA is. We know what Utah is. We know Alabama. We know Georgia is lights out again. Pretty much we know what we got out of Pitt and Tennessee. A&M, we don't know. So as what you're doing is you're trying to zero, is Notre Dame just an under team? So all these teams we don't know. And that's the problem in the pros. I can give you half the college and say, well, Miami, I know what I'm getting. I don't have a Miami or Florida in the pros. Probably the closest is Kansas City, where I know what I'm going to get out of Mahomes. And that's where the pros, I've got to figure out a different layer to get into the pros than I have, because the problem with the pros is all the switching of the coaches and quarterbacks. So now I got Mayfield, he's on Carolina. Well, I got all the Cleveland stats. I got Brady at Tampa. Now I got Tampa stats. And then Russell Wilson's now on Denver. All those movements then create, you've lost the past statistics. So you now have more risk with the team. I don't know how good Denver is. I know how good Russell Wilson is. You'd think it'll be good, but do they have the defense? How are the receivers? Judy, I think, is out again. The kid from these Alabama receivers, none of them play. Judy's out. The kid on Oakland's done. The kid on Atlanta quit. I mean, all these fast guys, they get into the pros, they all go away. So, but the LSU guys, Chase and all these guys are superstars. That's why I harp on the draft, and I go, don't take anybody from Alabama, because none of them do anything in the pros, but take the guys from LSU, Burrow and Chase, and if they get Boutte on that fucking team with Cincinnati, you're going to win 5 Super Bowls, because nobody's going to stop Burrow from hitting those two guys. Won't happen. Anyway, so that's the thing. So I have a lot of risk. Garoppolo and Fields, I have no clue. I know they're not going to score a lot. College, I can read all day, right? Even the EMU, Louisiana, Lafayette games and Oklahoma, Kent State. Again, that game, now I think that number went from 70 to 72. Makes it extremely difficult, but that's over against over. That should be a very high-scoring game. Kent State should be in the 30s very easily in this game, because I don't think Oklahoma's got the defense. Those are the type of things that we're looking at. Again, we saw Kentucky, Florida, we talked about. Take the dog. I don't think Florida people are not – there's too much risk that Florida's going to beat Kentucky. It's very little risk. Kentucky wins the game or stays very close. And that's what you're looking for. That's the key to making the picks, is the risk. Sort of like buying a stock, or as we say, buying gold and silver. Buying gold and silver is like Alabama. There's no risk. You know they're going to win. You know they're going to go up in value. There is no risk at all. Go buy diamonds, Rolex watches, Mickey Mantle cards. Get out of cash. That's all I can tell you. That's a lock. Cash is going to go to zero. I can tell you that. Now, the teams I don't know in college, West Virginia, Kansas. Kansas lit up against a cheap team last week. How are they going to do in this case? Well, this I don't know. Again, we don't know. I don't know how good or bad Kansas is. I know West Virginia played Pitt really tough, so they should be good. But again, how bad is Kansas? So this is the problem when they play Division II teams. You don't. It's a magician trick. It's like, oh, look at Kansas. They put up 60, and then, well, here's the real Kansas team. You don't know, and that's why I say you got to ignore the Division II teams, focus on the good Division I teams, and find the weak teams to bet against. And again, Iowa State, you can take Iowa State and you can take the game under, whatever you prefer. That's what I would go with. But anyway, Illinois, Virginia, do you know Virginia? No. Do we know Illinois? Not really. They beat a decent Wyoming team, and then they lost to Indiana. Well, what team are you getting? See, that's where the risk comes in. You don't know what you're getting with Illinois, that you know what you're getting with Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State and Michigan State. And that's really the key to it. And that's what we do in our little class here, is figure it out. That's why I grade the teams. So I look at the scores, but I look at who they beat. And if they beat a good team, Pitt beat a good West Virginia team. Okay. Ohio State beat Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame played pretty well, probably a good under team. So you're looking for the big win, right? That big upset, and going, wow, they're pretty good. They beat them. That's what that's the skill that I'm trying to teach you. Is so you can determine if the team's a strong or weak team, but you can't determine it against the Division II team. Now, if what was the game? Oregon, Eastern. No, what was the other one? I don't know. Whoever with the Division II. Now, if Kansas beats if Kansas beats West Virginia, they're no longer a Z team, right? If Kansas beats West Virginia 21-20, they're no longer a Z team. They've turned into an E team, an even team. And then if they keep going and they can beat Oklahoma State or Texas Tech, now they're an over team or a B team. And that's how they do it. That's where you get your rank. Baylor beat Oklahoma. They beat Texas. They beat Oklahoma State. Then they won their bowl game, which we had locked because we could see who they had beaten. They were a really good team, but the point spreads were still a dog in whoever they played in the bowl game. It was an easy win. Arkansas, all of a sudden, when they had the Wisconsin coach, they sucked. They were a Z team. Then they get better. Then get Jefferson. Now they got a good quarterback. Now they're rolling. We have them last week against who do we have them again? We had them against Cincinnati. They beat Cincinnati with a good defense. They put up 31 on them. Cincinnati's Arkansas is an A team. That will be a team that's going to scare Alabama because they got to get better defensively to beat Alabama. But they're an A team right now. So against us, they beat us. Cincinnati gives them a lot of credit. And just watching the way they play, they got a good quarterback. That's what you're looking for. The next level is to look at the balance. That's why I'm telling you to take Baylor. They run for 250, pass for 250. You can't defend them. Who's going to get the ball? And if they run, they're good. And if they throw, they're good. That's the next level that we come to. So when I look at some of these games, why did I take Kent State? Because they run for 250 and pass for 250. Granted, last year, new quarterback, but the coach has the idea, this is what we are, and they were pretty balanced against Washington. They scored 20. It was 45-20, but we got so many points. We got 30 points. It was a W, and it was an easy W because they were down like 18, and I think Washington scored late. So this week they got Kent State, Oklahoma. Kent State, we know, is balanced, puts up 20 on Washington, going to put up at least 20 on Oklahoma. We know Oklahoma is going to put up 40 on Kent State because they don't have a defense, but Kent State's very balanced and will score. So against Oklahoma, they don't have a chance of winning, but if you notice, last week the over-under was what? Was 56, I think, or 58. It might have went all the way up to 60. We're 54. They cover that easily. But they score 65 in the game. But now it's 70, and I think it's up to 71 or 72. Now it gets a little dicey because now the number's so high that it's not the secret. So what we're looking for are the Miamis at, here's Miami of Florida, and they're laying fucking their over is 56 and a half. And they got Van Dyke, and they're like, tease it down to 50, and we got an NFL quarterback who lights it up. He'll score in the 40s by himself. We need a touchdown from Southern Miss. Miami doesn't have the killer Georgia defense, so they should get the points. And if they score a few, Van Dyke's going to light them up in the 40s. That is 42-14 is not, and that's 56. That covers the 50. So that's where we've got the hidden on Vegas is they only got Miami at 56. Miami should be the 70, right? Now, Oklahoma, we don't know what we got. We got a new cornerback. Okay, they put up – who did they play? Did they play Division II? I think they might have. So many Division II games. No, they played Division I. Oklahoma. Where are they? It was a pretty good team, if I remember. They played UTEP. They played UTEP 45-13. That's a 58. UTEP's an E team, so they score a little. In the first game, they gave up 31 to North Texas. Here they only give up 45 to Oklahoma. So is Oklahoma the explosive team they were? No. They don't have the same offense in that. So 45-13 is a 58. So they beat them by 32. I can get Kent State and 37. All of a sudden, that looks very intriguing because Oklahoma, they didn't put a 50 up against UTEP. Maybe they put it up against Kent, but I can see Kent playing right with them with that offense because their offense is very good. So I could see this being a 25-point win. You got 37. That's the edge. The 70 is a bit high to get to, but with Kent, I mean, they certainly will score a lot. So if you know Kent's going to score and you got 37 points against an Oklahoma team that doesn't have a great defense, it's probably a pretty good play, and that's probably how you got to look at it. Anyway, so that's about it. We'll do college tomorrow, but that's just the scenario. So that's what you're looking for. In the pros, it's very difficult. Now, with all the 11 coaching changes, you had 7 the last 5 years, you've had 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Look at the Lions. They get Patricia for 2 years. He fucks it up. How did you pick him as your head coach if the guy doesn't know how to coach? Well, he's from New England. Well, yeah, we've seen how many coaches from New England who can't coach. And I'm not even convinced Belichick's a good coach anymore because without Brady, the guy's terrible. So I think Brady's the reason, not Belichick. So with that said, you bring in Patricia for 2 years. He wins 2 games. And now you bring in a new guy. And this guy sucks. This guy's never coached before. So you keep bringing in coaches that have never coached before, and you wonder why you keep sucking. But I mean, so now they do all the player changes. So the first year is wasted. So you got 11 new coaches off of a 7. How the hell do you analyze it when you don't know the coach? You don't know what the hell they're doing. That's the problem with the pros right now. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to hire a GM and a coach. They don't know what quarterback to look for. Jalen Hurts should never be in the NFL. Ryan Mills should never be in the NFL. Fields should never have been a top draft pick. Frisco drafts Lance at the 3rd pick. Garoppolo's beating him out, and Garoppolo's nothing to, great. Tagliabue was a 3rd pick. He's no 3rd pick. Mariota, what's he doing out there? They don't even know what they're doing. They got quarterbacks that just blow. You can't bet the quarterback. I made so much money betting on Montana and betting on Brady and betting on Elway and betting on Marino and down the list, Aikman and not Steve Young, but, you made a lot of money betting on the player, Lawrence Taylor. You cannot make money betting on a Mariota, a Winston, a Jones, a Garoppolo, a Fields, a Mills, Trubisky, Jackson, Flacco, Hurts, Goff. This is my problem, right? So I can't bet any team because there's too much risk. I can't figure out who's good because they're all new and they got all new coaches. So I've got to really do another deep figuring into what am I looking for, and I've got to reanalyze what I'm looking for in the pros. College, we got piece of cake. I've been so hot in college for the last year. The 8 locks and then the bowls were just the highlight of it. But here we go again, 5 locks this week, and I'm very confident on them. But in the pros, I can't find a lock. I can't lock Cincinnati. I certainly can't lock, Tampa over Dallas. I can't lock Kansas City over Arizona. Green Bay over Minnie's not a lock. Oakland, San Diego. I can take the dog. I can't lock it. The best lock I could do is over in the Green Bay game. That's the best lock I could come up with in the pros. So again, the pros are very difficult, and the fact there's no preseason. But in college, it's different. Without the preseason, it's for some reason it's different. In the pros, without the preseason, you just can't get a feel, and off you go. So we'll get a feeling. I need about 3 games, I think, in the pros to really get a grip on, I think I know the A teams, like I said, Green Bay, Kansas City, Tampa, maybe Dallas, maybe for the Rams, Buffalo, teams like that. But we'll see. But that's where we're at. So anyway, www.teaserking.com. Get my email. Ask the questions you're asking here is fine. I've basically given you my analysis on the games, but you don't know who I'm picking. You still need to buy those, and then to get the 5 locks. So the best thing to do, for $125, you get the week. For $300, you get a whole month, 4 weeks of college and pro and locks, which is probably the best deal. Or if you're with me, $650 for the whole year. I got several people who have done that, and that's really the best. You get all the picks through the Super Bowl. But if you want to kind of play a few weeks and build your bankroll and then buy it, then it would only be $650 or whatever. If you bought the first 2 weeks from me, then you wanted the whole year, I would take the $250 off the $750, so it would just be $500. But post the results and the history, and you hear all the games here basically. So just listen to last week's video, and you'll hear a whole bunch of winners. Look at my college bowl, and you get that Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. So we do teasers. If you want 3, 4, 5 team teasers, G's doing a 5-team teaser this week. So I said buy the locks, and she's got the locks. She's got the 5 teams. She's playing a 5-team teaser. Very smart. She gets good odds. That's how you play it. That's about it. I mean, I'm exhausted, so I will be back tomorrow with college, and that's about it for now. So you've got the pros pretty much going. Now, if there's an injury or a point spread, big change, we'll talk about it Sunday morning. So what I'll do is college tomorrow. Saturday morning, I'll do a brief update on college, line movements and injuries. And then Sunday morning, I'll do a brief, Baltimore's moved to 10 over the Jets, and then we can go from there, or over-unders. A lot of action happens for pros, like Sunday morning. You'll see the line move. And then I love how everybody goes, well, it's the sharps. They know something. Bullshit. I'm a sharp. I made my lock picks on Monday morning. I don't wait till Saturday afternoon to make my college football strong plays. I look at the line, and then before the line moves, I make the bet. And it's helped 2 of the lines of the games I picked have definitely been helped that I bet them early because the lines moved. And the same thing in the pros. There's nothing, I might bet it because the line moves. If Dallas is a 2-point favorite Sunday morning, we're betting on Tampa unless Brady got hurt. That's kind of how I would look at a sharp move is the line really moves. If Arizona becomes the favorite, I would be all over Kansas City, but we're not getting the right team favored. But that's what you look for. That's what the sharps are. Great class tonight. See you tomorrow. Okay, G. You got any questions? You got my email. But basically, that's it. That's you've got to have a purpose. You got to have a score. I don't want you to bet Division II teams because you don't know them unless you know them. So if you live in Eastern Washington, C or SE, I'm not sure how you want to be called. If you live there and you know Eastern, like I live in Michigan, I know Central Michigan. But if you wanted me to bet on a Division II team like Wayne State, you got to be kidding me. I don't know anything about Wayne State. Now, the MAC schools, Central Western, I'm giving you Central. We bet we had the over in the Oak State game last week. So I can give you that, but that's not Division II. It's still Division I. Central's an explosive over team, and Western and Eastern are okay, but they're not Division II. So I don't want you guys to bet Division II unless you can name 5 players, the quarterback, and what's the rating of the team. Are they an over, a Z, an A? Like, we know North Dakota State's an A team. They win the thing every week. We now know South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits, played Iowa, must have a good defense. And obviously, I don't know what kind of offense they had. They didn't score. They kicked the field goal. So at least we got a little knowledge on North Dakota State, South Dakota State. But I can't. You want to go after Eastern Washington. I know they used to be an over. Whatchamacallit, Herbert played there, or the other quarterback, Mariota, played there. Somebody who went to Oregon played there. So that's okay. But if we don't know, then there's enough games on the board that I gave you that you don't play Miami over if you're really fishing for Oregon, who showed absolutely nothing against Georgia. What makes you think they can even score on Eastern Washington? You don't know anything about Oregon with the new coach, and you know nothing about Eastern Washington. Don't bet those games. Bet the games you know. That's about the best advice I can give you. That's what you're looking for. Bet against the Z teams, but you don't even know if Eastern Washington's a Z or an over. If you knew that, that's a different story, but you don't. So just be careful. Even what Delaware beat Navy, I can't tell you Delaware is an A team. I can't tell you Navy's a Z team. They're a running team. Obviously, Delaware probably runs a similar offense, knew how to defend them. Let's see what happens with Memphis, but you got to see some games. All right, everybody. Excuse me. Have a nice night. I will talk to you tomorrow, earlier than tonight. And good luck. And www.teaserking.com. If you want to test by a week, this is a good week. You got the pros and the college. Again, 5 locks in college. So it's a good week to buy it. You can play a 5-team teaser. You can mix them in 2 or 3 teasers if you want. You can play a 10-team teaser. You got 5 locks. So whatever you're into. A lot of times I play, and I posted on my Twitter, Teaserking. I show you a 10-team winner and an 11-team winner on teasers, and they're posted. So when you got a lot of good teams, then I think I bet $20 and won 500. Beautiful. I should have bet more, but I really didn't. It's hard to bet an 11-team teaser for $100, but I should have, because I knew I knew I had 11 winners or 10 winners anyway. All right, everybody, have a great night. www.teaserking.com. You get my email. Please email me if you have questions. And let's have a great weekend. Okay, everybody. Good night. Thank you.